people don't, they're often afraid to push the envelope. There's so many things out there to do. We just have to do them. Don't you think?
Kathie Leitch started pushing the envelope in 1955 when she became the first person to swim across Lake Winnipeg, and she's barely slowed down since then. When she was living in Edmonton, she started competing in Ironman triathlons in her 50s and spent years dragon boat racing while being treated for cancer in Vancouver.
I'd go on my bike with my paddle stuck in my backpack, and I'd go to the cancer clinic and have my treatment and go home.
Her biggest challenges had nothing to do with athletics. She survived breast cancer, but both her husband and son died. So when she met Johnny Fenton, the Alberta cancer survivor who just became the oldest person to swim across the lake, that was something special.
And he's raised $60,000 for cancer, which is very admirable. I just really like him.
We can all learn from Kathie, from her resilience in coping with tragedy, facing broken bones, taking risks, and living well in your 90s. Tell us how you broke your collarbones.
Oh, falling off my bike. We were coming down the mountain after watching the peloton go by, and a car came around the corner and took four of us out.
So we shouldn't stop taking risks.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
Oh, I totally agree with them. Why not? When you get to be 70, you might as well, because you don't have much longer.
70? Pff, that was almost 22 years ago.
Just haven't learned yet that we can continue to do things that more than we have been told we're capable of.
Well, let's take us back to when you swam the lake. Take us back to 1955. That's when it was, right?
Well, it was, and it was a dare by my dad. I didn't train at all. He just dared me. He said, nobody's ever swum Lake Winnipeg. How about if you try it? And I said, sure. And went out. I guess we kind of started the first day. It was a Sunday, I think. And got more than halfway, and the big waves came up, and it got dark, and they pulled me out. And then after that, the Free Press put up $1,000 for the first person who swam it, and 5 men signed up, and we didn't. But the Tribune said they'd give me $1,000 if I didn't sign up, but gave them the story. So that's what happened.
If you didn't sign up?
Yeah, we didn't sign up for the organized swim by the Free Press, or CJOB, I think it was.
Right.
And they just have the exclusive story.
Huh, so how did that play out then?
Well, we snuck down to the lake, if there's such a word as snuck, and started out. But the night that we went down, we saw all the CJOB and the press cars. And in those days, of course, there weren't cell phones. So they had to use their cars to get to a phone. And the keys were still in the cars. So the Tribune fellows took the keys out, threw them into the bushes. And so the Free Press couldn't get the story. And then the next morning started out, and the 5 men were slowly, one at a time, pulled out. And I made it very badly, very slowly. I had pretty good form as a swimmer, but I was very slow. And I hadn't trained.
But the other men that were competing in that, they didn't complete it at all?
No, none of them did. And none of them ever did. Never tried it again.
How long after that first attempt was the second attempt that was part of the contest?
Well, that was a Sunday. It was the following Friday.
Wow, that was a lot of exertion.
Yeah, it was, but I wasn't tired. I didn't feel any difference.
That takes a lot of determination, though, to be in that water, because you're up against a lot of other elements. What was the water like that day?
Oh, it was good. It was good. And there's nothing in Lake Winnipeg that bites or attacks or latches on, and it was good. The conditions were perfect.
Was there ever a point when you were swimming across where you thought, oh, I can't do this?
Oh, absolutely. The last 4 hours. I could see the water tower and just never seemed to get any closer. And I thought, oh, I can't do this, but I knew I could. One level of me was saying, I can't do this, but the other level was saying, well, of course I can. If that
What
makes
was
it.
it that
Yeah.
kept you going?
Oh, I guess I wanted to be rich and famous. And I was famous for 15 minutes and I loved every minute.
And rich, you got a little
Now,
rich. Tell me
well,
what you got out of that deal.
$1,000 in that day was quite a bit of money, but that's all. But nowadays they don't swim for themselves. I mean, Johnny raised $60,000 for cancer. I think that's wonderful. We did, any long distance swimmers didn't think of doing that then. It was just to see how much money we could make, and then any of them that did it. Marilyn Bell, of course, I thought was the ultimate. She was terrific.
Remind us, Marilyn Bell, what did she do?
Oh, she swam Lake Ontario, and then she
Uh,
swam here
mhm.
in out of Victoria, and then she did the English Channel. But I like challenges. When I was 50, my three sons and my husband and I were watching Ironman from Hawaii, and I couldn't bike or run then, but I said, "Oh, I could do that." And one of my sons said, "Oh, go back to the kitchen where you belong, Mom." So of course that did it. I started training the next day, and when I was 54, I did the Penticton Ironman, qualified for Hawaii the following year, and did Hawaii when I was 55. And there were 11 of us in that age group, uh, 50 to, I was 55 then, so 55 to 59. Now there are probably 111. And the same in Penticton. They're getting older and older as people realize that they can do much more than they think they can. So we old people were kind of the vanguard. And a lot more people do Ironmans now. And it was fun. Loved that too.
And there wasn't a point, was there a point in the Ironman where you thought, this is crazy? What did I sign up for? That's a
Oh,
long day.
oh yeah, probably. But you meet so many interesting people when you're training for something like that. And I met up with a group of runners at the Kinsman Fieldhouse in Edmonton, and they just took me under their wing. They were all 25, 30. So I was kind of their mascot. And if they wanted to find out if they saw a loop in the trail that we were running on, if they wanted to know how long it would take them to do it, they'd send me. And if it took me 3 minutes, they knew they could do it in a minute and a half. So they do the extra little trail. So we had lots of fun, lots of laughs. We did the
That
Jasper to Banff run too several years, the whole group, and it was wonderful fun training. I had such a good time.
I love that intergenerational aspect
Oh,
of it. Hey?
yes, yeah. And I'm still in touch with some of them in Edmonton
Mhm.
after God, how long? After 30, 40 years. So it's a lot of fun. I don't think they say that Olympians really sacrifice their social life to train, but their social life is the training. And that's the fun of it. I'm sure they have a lot of fun training, and it's part of their social life.
So you really found your people there. That's when you were living in Edmonton, I take it? 'Cause yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
we lived there
Okay.
for 40 years,
Yeah.
raised our three sons there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how old were you then? You were in your 50s when you were training with these folks?
Yes, yeah. I started training when I was 50,
Yeah.
did my first Ironman in Penticton in 54, and then at 55, we had to wait a year then, which is deadly. Now it's the same year. But we qualified in Penticton and then went to Hawaii the next year. So I trained for 5 years, 7, 8, 9 hours a day. It was fun. I know it sounds crazy. My partner can't understand it,
I'm
but
sure a lot of people can't understand
no,
it.
no, I think that's
What
right.
what makes you do it?
I don't know. I cannot tell you. It's just I was born with some kind of energy. some kind of muscle group or whatever to be able to keep on keeping on. And it's just interesting to see how much more you can do. That's I think that's all it is.
You're kind of a cross between like a border collie and Forrest Gump.
Yes, yes, that's right. That's
I
right.
guess you just wouldn't be happy if you weren't moving. That's what
No.
is,
Oh
that's where you
no.
get your joy.
Oh, absolutely. And then I moved to Vancouver, and because my youngest son was here, and everybody said, "Oh, Vancouver's so unfriendly." But you've got to put yourself out to meet people. They're not going to come to me. And I was walking on the seawall one day, and I saw some dragon boats, and I yelled out, "Who are you guys?" And they told me, and then I dragon boated for 10 years after that. And that was a lot of fun. And then I went with a group of dragon boaters to um, some kind of a athletic fair at the convention center and won an entry into the Grand Fondo, which is a bike ride from Vancouver to Whistler. So then I did that for 4 years, and that was fun.
Of course you did. I just see you
Yes,
waving to the dragon boaters. Hey,
yes,
what are you guys
yes,
doing?
yeah. That we can
Wow.
all do so much more. We can all
Yeah.
do so much more than we think. We really can, and we should do it. Why not?
Well, you
Anyway,
are proof of that.
I'm not doing as much now. I'm living in an independent living residence in Victoria, and there's a little pool downstairs. My collarbones are pretty sore because I've broken both of them twice. So I kind of paddle around in the pool for exercise, and we walk quite a bit. And we go dancing at Herman's, which is a blues place in downtown Victoria. Met my partner here, a really good friend, and we do all kinds of things together.
I'm glad you're still moving that way. I'm
Yes.
curious now, how did you, can you tell us how you broke your collarbones?
Oh, falling off my bike. Went to watch the Tour de France the last year that Lance Armstrong was in it. And we were coming down the mountain after watching the peloton go by. And a car came around the corner and took four of us out, just swerved over. He didn't even stop. And that's how I broke this collarbone for the second time. I broke it when I was a little kid, tobogganing. And this I broke falling off my bike.
Those mishaps change how you felt about cycling? Did you
Oh,
still get back
no.
up or did it
Oh,
stop
yeah.
you? Did it make you hesitate?
No, no. My daughter-in-law does all these things too, Ironmans, and she's much better than me. Her times are better. She's 66 now, and she still swims, bikes, and runs. But she had her first injury a week ago hiking, and I've had about, I would say, eight. Went over the handlebars of my bike once in Edmonton, hit a pothole, broke all my teeth, and on that. So I'm kind of an
So,
accident waiting to happen.
but
But
nothing deters
I
you. Like you don't get scared by
no,
stuff that goes sideways.
no, no, I haven't. I've kept on going. I just don't like sitting still. I'm enjoying it more. I can do it better now.
Yeah. I'm curious, one more thing about the folks in Edmonton that you were training with. How did you balance that? Because I'm assuming they were going much faster. How do
Yeah,
you train folks that are going at a quicker
well,
clip?
I guess I could keep up with them then. Although I was 25 years older, I seemed to keep up with them. And they were a wonderful group, just a wonderful group. We had parties and fun and did the Jasper de Banff race, and we had such a good time.
Wow, I wasn't expecting to hear that you actually kept up with them because you said they were 25 years older
Well,
than.
they probably slowed down a bit. I bet they did. They never admitted,
Wow.
but I'm sure they.
That's lovely that you made those connections.
Yes, it was.
And you recently met Johnny Fenton, who was the now the oldest person to swim across Lake
Yeah.
Winnipeg. What was
He,
that like?
oh, he's a wonderful man. Fun and determined, and he came out here and he took my partner and I out for dinner, and we had lots of laughs and lots of fun. And I'm just so proud of him that he did it with his bad shoulder. And he's had, I think it's Hodgkin's disease twice, and he's raised $60,000 for cancer, which is very admirable. I just really like him. Quite.
It was amazing to see that picture of you two both in your Kathie swim and his
Yes.
Johnny swim.
Well, he had that shirt
Shirts.
made, and it's
Yeah.
very cute. It's very cute. So he's coming out in October, he said, so we will see him again. But this time I will take him out for dinner to celebrate him.
Now, what I didn't know before speaking to you was that you have a personal connection to cancer as well, right?
Well, yes, I had breast cancer. My husband died of cancer. My middle son had cancer the same time as my husband did, but he survived. But my younger son died of a brain tumor when he was 53.
I'm so sorry.
Yes, there's been a lot of cancer in my family. And one of my granddaughters had cancerous nodes around her neck, and she had those removed. So a lot of cancer on my husband's side. But we're doing okay. We're doing
So
okay.
that must have been
Everybody
even
has something.
more remarkable to meet up with Johnny, knowing what he was raising the
Well,
money for.
yes, it was very special. Yeah, he's a special man. I'm looking forward to seeing him in
Yeah.
October.
When you had breast cancer, how long ago was that?
Oh,
Or how old were you?
well, it was about 13 or 14 years ago, but it was just a lump and it was removed and I felt fine. I used to go for my radiation. I was dragon boating then, and I'd go on my bike with my paddle stuck in my backpack, and I'd go to the cancer clinic and have my treatment and go home. I felt fine. I wasn't sick at all. It was just a nothing. And it was wonderful because my hair grew in curly. But I've been sick for the last 4 months and the curl is kind of gone. Went to Mexico and picked up the worst bug, was in the hospital for a month when I came home. And the next 2 months after that, May, June, and half of July, I couldn't leave my room. I was so sick. And Vic, my partner, had to bring all my meals up for me. And I still don't feel great, but I will. Another couple of months and I'll feel better. But it was a terrible bug. They didn't know what it was.
They
They'd
still
start.
don't.
Hmm?
And they still don't know what that.
No, they start me on one antibiotic and didn't work. Start me on another one, it didn't work. And finally, they just sent me home and told me to, just rest and lie low and didn't really tell me what to do. And finally, I stopped taking two of the medications that they'd given me, and then I started to get better. But it's, well, I won't talk about our medical system. It's really sad. It's too bad. That's enough.
With the adversities you faced along the way with your family and whatnot, and your own,
Well,
falling off the bikes and whatnot, do you think the ability just to get back up after something knocks you down is something you've learned throughout your life, or is that just something you have?
I don't know what it is. It's not that it doesn't bother me, and I feel a little depressed about things, but I seem to be able to pull myself together and keep on keeping on, because there's nothing worse than just sitting around and dwelling on things. But everybody has bad things happen to them. You talk to anybody, and there's been some disaster in their family. So I'm not alone. Not alone.
What advice would you have for people on keeping that resilient?
Oh, I can't give any advice.
How about for being as vibrant as you are and so full of life? I mean, you have more energy than most 18-year-olds.
Well,
What is the deal?
I still have a lot of energy, and we still do a lot of things. And this senior residence has a lot of wonderful people in it. And we have a core of about 15 people that we do things with. And we play poker. I organized a pool tournament 3 years ago, and it's still going. We play pool and we have a party at the end of each session, and my partner and I get tacky prizes for the winners, and we have a big party. And we walk a lot. My walking is getting better. I couldn't walk very much after the Mexican bug, but I'm getting better. And just have to keep on dancing. As somebody said, if life isn't a big adventure, it's nothing at all. And I've gone on some big adventures. After my husband died, I decided I was going to just push the envelope and do some adventurous trips, which I did. Went to Antarctica and Africa, up to see the gorillas, went to the Arctic, went to base camp on Mount Everest, just kept on keeping on. People they're often afraid to push the envelope. There's so many things out there to do. We just have to do them. Don't you think?
I think so. And it's funny because I was just listening to an interview with an author of a book called 70.
Oh,
And he talks about his reflections on turning 70. And what he's commented on was the need to take risks, that we shouldn't stop taking risks. What do you
yeah.
think of that?
Oh, I totally agree with them. Yes, we should. Absolutely. Why not? When you get to be 70, you might as well, because you don't have much longer.
Well, that was like 20 years ago for you. How old are
Yeah,
you?
I'll be 92 in September.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
like 22 years. People, sometimes we get written off at 70, or we think we need to slow down and, be
Oh,
careful because we might get hurt.
well, you have to be careful, but you can still do things. We just haven't learned yet that we can continue to do things that more than we have been told we're capable of. I think our capabilities are so much more than we've been told or think. So keep on tap dancing, everybody. Just do it.
I think all those numbers that you pointed out in the triathlon increasing so much are clear evidence of that.
Well, that was so much fun to do, and to have a son say, "Oh, go back to the kitchen where you belong, Mom." Oh, that just did it.
That fired you up, hey?
It certainly did, but they were terrific. They helped me,
Uh,
and they were terrific. Two sons living in Edmonton, and one flew in that night, got in at 12 o'clock, managed to get into the hospital. It was all locked up, but got in and slept on the sofa beside me for 2 nights, and he was terrific. I was so sick. I don't
now,
remember the first 2 days. I was so out of it.
now I suspect that was the longest you've ever been laid up. What was that like? Because I know
Oh, yeah.
I move a lot too, and I don't like being sick. What helped you get through that, being immobile for that long?
Well, oh, they came up. My daughter-in-law came up a lot. My partner came up every day. My two granddaughters, who my youngest one is going to U of Vic, Sophie, she came up. She'd rub my feet, she'd do my nails. And the other granddaughter, Kate, is a horse person, and she was working on a horse farm, helping a lady who raises horses. And it's the first time that I've lived in the same city as the two of them. And she came up to the hospital all the time. So I got to know the two granddaughters. And that was really a plus. Something so good came out of that. And they would bring me wonderful food. And the nurses were wonderful, but the hospitals are so bad. I had to ask for clean sheets and change the bed myself. But that's just the way it is.
What was it that kept you going mentally
Oh,
when
I
you
don't.
can't be moving? Like I suspect that would have been really hard for you to not
Well, it,
be
it
moving.
was. Yeah, I tried to sleep as much as I could, but and I can't. I've got macular degeneration, so can't read anymore. But I got movies on my iPad and watched those when there was nobody there. And
Yeah.
But when everybody came in, all we did was laugh. And my son came up, and the two granddaughters, and Vic, and my daughter-in-law. I don't know what it was, but we just laughed nonstop about things. So I got through it.
Wow, your story is certainly inspiring.
Well, I I don't know if it's that. It's just you just have to go on. That's what,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's what we the Stoics say. It's how we can't change some things that life throws at us, but we can change how we react to it.
That's right. That's a good saying. Yes.
And you certainly do react to things.
Well, I'm getting a little frustrated now that I'm not feeling as well as I did before we went to Mexico. Um, but I'll get there. It will take another couple of months before I feel really 90% of what I used to be. But I'll do it.
Of course you will. What do you got planned next?
But right now we're just kind of enjoying living here in the residence and playing bridge. And there's a bridge tournament on Friday. We're going to go into that. And poker and pool and see my daughter-in-law a lot. She's like a daughter to me. She's wonderful. So we're very lucky.
I can almost feel the love through the screen right now of your family. They
Yeah,
sound wonderful, and
they are.
I'm sure your
Yeah.
son would be so proud of you.
Yeah, he would. He used to do marathons, and he had the same kind of energy. He used to do long distance bike rides with him and Dawn, his wife, my daughter-in-law, and that was fun. That was fun to do. But we'll always miss him, of course. You never get over losing a child. It's a terrible thing. Anyway,
Well, thank goodness we have people like Johnny taking a
yes.
stand and raising money for people who have been affected by cancer and for
Mhm.
so that future people will not have to
I
endure
think I
that.
think
So
I think he's wonderful, and I'm
yeah.
looking forward to seeing him in October.
Well, I can't wait to hear your guys' stories together. I can't wait to see where your next adventure takes you,
Oh, good.
Kathie.
Okay. Okay.
What an absolute pleasure speaking with you
Oh,
today.
oh, thank you. Thank you
Right.
for phoning and getting us hooked up. It took quite a while to get us on Zoom, but my
You
phone
also
did
proved
it.
that there's age is not a barrier when it comes to making Zoom calls.
No, that's right. I'm not very techy. I don't
Well,
like,
you
no.
are. You just proved it. You're
Well,
talking to me.
yes. Well, I like my cell, but I don't use my computer anymore. I can't, it's difficult to see the keys
Mhm.
on the computer, but my cell phone does everything and my iPad. But you can still do things. We just haven't learned yet that we can continue to do things that more than we have been told we're capable of. I think our capabilities are so much more than we've been told or think. So keep on tap dancing, everybody.